Knowing when enough is enough. It's probably one of the hardest things to learn. It's something that you definitely can't learn in a single year. It takes years. I would say it takes a long time. I don't know, maybe a decade even, to really get a good understanding for how much is too much and how much is too little, and use it in your training. Which is kind of why I started using our PE scale. I haven't really been implementing the RTS training system into my programming. All I've been using is just the RPE scales on my main work sets, and just using it as a way to kind of help guide my feeling of my performance and just how everything is feeling. And one of the things I talked about a video I watched with Dan Green, an interview, and he talked about kind of linear progression and kind of how to progress your program. And some weeks you can go extra hard, some weeks you can go light and whatnot. And his friend that was training like this, it was kind of a crapshoot. You didn't know when you were going to get well. So it almost seems like you kind of have to undertrain. And you have to undertrain in a very smart way so that you can make predictable progress. And that's kind of what I did in this session. I set a goal to do 3x3 with 265. I was able actually to get a PR with 265 really good pause repetitions. That means I didn't hesitate. I really paused it on my chest, and they're pretty much equivalent to what a competition pause would be. And I'm quite happy for that, because that means I'm refining my technique. But more importantly, what I really wanted to mainly say is that I could have done more. I could have done an extra set. I could have done multiple sets. I actually wanted to do like 5-second pauses or 3-second pauses, like longer pauses, or maybe do some close grip work. But I decided to call it a day because I know now, based on my RPEs and based on how I feel and based on my experience of benching, that I'm almost for certain guaranteed able to do 270 for 3x3 next week. And then the following week, or maybe even 275 pounds for 3x3 pause repetitions. And for me, that would be such a huge accomplishment. I think that's one thing that's the hardest thing that's lacking in a lot of people's programming, and some people that love training like me and like you probably watching this video, is that it's hard to predict your programming. And in powerlifting, it's so simple. You just need to move more weight. And in bodybuilding, you're like trying to make your physique more bigger, or certain areas more balanced and symmetrical. In powerlifting and a lot of sports where you're just having to move absolute weight, like Olympic lifting, all you're focused on is working on your weaknesses and improving your movement pattern. So that way you can essentially win competition or get a better total. And I'll tell you right now that I'm starting to understand, for me specifically, I don't know about you, but for me, that I need to undertrain. I push too hard on certain movements that cause me joint issues, and that happens to be the bench press. I could have done way more volume, I could have tolerated more volume, but I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't have been able to make progression the following week. So it's kind of like one of those things. You need to make predictable progress so that you have predictable programming, or have a sense of predictable program so that you know when to move the weight. Because if you think about it, you can go in there, you can kill the weights and crush it because you feel good, right? But the truth is, you just can't push 10 RPE every single day. You can't just go in there and kill it. You just won't. Typically, you're going to crash and burn. You won't recover. And as much as I feel like I need to work harder, I think for right now, I'm just going to scale things back just a little bit, just so that I can get predictable strength progress. Because I do know next week, I feel pretty confident I'm going to be able to hit 275 or 270 for sure. 3x3, I might hit 270 for 2 sets, and then 275 for a single set next week, and then just keep making progress all the way up to over 300 pounds and eventually 400 pounds until I get stuck. I found some lagging areas in my technique, and one of those lagging areas in my technique was I wasn't having enough horizontal bar movement. And I learned this horizontal bar movement mistake from a video that Chris Duffin, he didn't really say anything about me, or it's not something that I really thought about until I watched this video, which I'll leave a link in the description. So definitely take a look at that video. It has some great valuable tips on bench press. It really helped me out. I actually listened to it on my trip from Reno, and I've been thinking about kind of what's been getting me stuck in my bench. And one of the main things that's been getting me stuck in my bench was that I wasn't arcing the bar properly. So I'd bring the bar down, and as I push up, I try to focus on pushing straight up. And what I really needed to do was bring the bar a little bit over my chest and shoulders, and that was kind of the thing I was missing. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why my benching session was so easy today, or easier, but simply because my refinement and technique. And sometimes you just gotta kind of bite the bullet and realize maybe your technique isn't as good as you think it is. If you've been stuck at a certain weight for a long time, and you're not benching over 400 pounds, maybe there's something wrong with your technique. There probably is something wrong with your technique, because I watched this really great Dave Tate video series. It's called How Much You Think You Can Bench, which there will be a link in the description for that video series, which is a little bit more technical and a little bit more dense, but it's really good. He says, maybe your technique just fucking sucks. And when I heard that, I've been benching for a long time, but at the same time, I haven't been making any real progress. So it's kind of like, maybe my technique does really suck. And as much as it's kind of hard for me to kind of swallow that pill and realize it, it just takes that moment where you realize, you know what, my technique probably fucking sucks. There's something wrong with my technique. And I felt pretty good. As much as it might have hurt my ego a little bit, I think it feels good to realize that, hey, you know what, I could actually learn and make progress. So anyways, hope you got something out of this video. Click like if you haven't already. Comment below if you have any questions. And just to end this video, one of the things that's caused me to kind of know enough is enough is knowing that after each training session, if you feel good, that's probably a good sign. If you feel completely obliterated, that's probably a bad sign. And if you're feeling like complete garbage after every training session, there's a good chance that you are hitting a point where you're not able to recover enough to make good, consistent progress. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. I'll see you guys on the next video.